Today I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can place different Feltie designs into one hoop. It's really useful if you're wanting to do a project where you don't need multiple Felties, or you've got lots of scraps like me that you want to use up and it's not going to waste, and you can actually turn it into another Feltie. All of the Felties that I'm using today have kindly been sent to me by the Feltie godmother. They're very adorable. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below to the website where you can purchase them from. I'm going to be using a Brother machine to show you how to place multiple Felties in the same hoop. I think most machines do have the same functionality, but perhaps your controls might be slightly different. When you buy Feltie patterns, they often come in different groupings. So for example, you can see on the Aloe pattern, there is a grouping of 6, there's an individual Feltie, and there's also a grouping of 3. So for the purpose of the video today, I'm going to be using the single Felties, and I'll be placing them in the hoop. So I'm going to set this one into my hoop, and you can move it around. My machine allows me to use my finger to drag it, but there is also a move button that allows me a bit more finer control of where I want to place the Feltie. And now we can layer different designs onto our hoop if we press add. So I'm going to select all the Felties that I'd like to use today. So now I have all the designs that I'd like to put onto my one hoop set on my machine. So stitching these out by eye is going to be a bit tricky. Luckily, most patterns do come with something called a placement stitch, and the Feltie Godmother Felties come with a placement stitch, which is really helpful for when you want to place multiple Felties in the same hoop. When I say edit end and embroidery, my machine then shows me the stitch sequence that it's going to stitch out. So we can see here, this particular colour is going to then stitch out the outline of the Aloe Feltie, so then I know exactly where in my hoop it's going to be stitched. Not all Feltie patterns do come with a placement stitch, so I will show you, once I've stitched out a few of these, how to place a Feltie in the hoop that doesn't have a placement stitch. So now when I press go, it's going to place a very light coloured stitch to show exactly where I need to put my felt. You can see there's the outline of exactly where the final stitch is going to be placed when you want to attach the backing felt to your Feltie. I do have a video showing exactly how to make a Feltie step by step, which I'll link below so you can see the various stages of actually how to stitch out a Feltie. And now I can place my felt onto my hoop. And I'll just do a fine little check that I have covered all the points of the Feltie. And now it's a matter of following the stitch steps. So now we've come to the outline stitch of the Feltie. So this is where I'm going to put the backing felt on to close the Feltie together. So there's the back of the Feltie, and that's going on, ready to be placed back onto the machine for the final outline stitch. So that's the plant stitched, and now we're going on to the next placement stitch, which is the spider outline. So I'm going to run through all of the next 4 Felties, so the spider, the moon, the ghost, and the yarn, and I'm going to stop when I get to morning pumpkin, and I'm going to show you where to place your felt when you're trying to do multiple Felties without placement stitches. I now have 5 of the designs that I set in the hoop stitched out, and they all have their backing felt on. I'm going to do the last Feltie, but I'm going to do this one without a placement stitch, and I'm going to show you how my machine allows me to do that. So with my Brother machine, if I just go out of the stitch view I have this control here, which allows me to see the perimeter of where all the stitches will be placed in my hoop. So because I've got all 6 designs on the hoop right now, it's going to show me that that's my perimeter. I'll show you what I mean. So we can use these controls to then find exactly where the furthest points will be. So if we go to the top left-hand corner, the machine has then moved the needle to where that would be. We go to the bottom and the middle. So knowing where all of these are going to be stitched out isn't really helpful for me to know exactly where this last feltie is going to be stitched out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of embroidery and I'm going to delete the other 5 felties off my hoop. And it's fine to do that because they've already got their backing on them. They're done. I'm not going to go back through my stitch dips to do anything else on those felties. So now I just have this in my hoop. So if I edit end, and then I'm going to use my control again to find out the furthest points. What you could do to help you out, just in case you're a bit nervous that it is too close and it's going to overlap and it's going to stitch over another design that you've already placed in the hoop, you could just draw a fine little dot to show exactly where they are. So I'm going to lock my machine as I do each of these steps. But we think this is about the furthest point there. And there's the right hand side. And the bottom. Although I'm not too concerned about the bottom because there's nothing that it'll stitch over there. It's more that little ghost that I'm worried about. So now I'm pretty confident that I can place my felt onto my hoop without it overstitching anything and causing a bit of a disaster. You can see that certainly covers the points that I made. We're not going to stitch over anything, so we're good to go with the last design. So there we have 6 different felties on one hoop. These felties from the Feltie Godmother are absolutely adorable. I really can't wait to get crafting with them. I especially love the yarn ball. I can't wait to make myself a cozy with one of those on. Let me know in the comments below which one your favourite is. And as always, if you have any requests for videos, let me know. And if you have any questions about anything I did in this video, just leave a comment below and I will do my best to help answer your question.